Do we have that here on earth now? No, unfortunately. So we are going to discuss a little bit what Srila Prabhupada said about this age. And I would like to begin with a conversation that Srila Prabhupada had with Allen Ginsberg, or Ginsberg, I don't know how it's pronounced. And we have Srila Prabhupada's disciple here, His Grace Dayananda Prabhu. Humble obeisances to you, Prabhu. I can screen share, and I have requested Dayanand Prabhu to just read out a small clip of this conversation, because it really gives us a very good idea of just how difficult this age is going to be, if it isn't already. So let me see if I can do the screen share. I'm not able to. Huh? Okay. All right. I think I'm putting up the screen share. I hope you can see. Is everyone able to see?
Yeah, you can see it. It's good.
Okay, very good. All right. So we are going to humbly request Dayanand Prabhu to read from this point, if you will. Dayanand Prabhu.
I can't hear anything from you on your end.
He's on mute.
He's actually not on mute. He just, I don't know.
Can you send a message on chat that we cannot hear him?
Yeah, here we go.
How's that?
Better. You're on.
Okay. Starting out, Prabhupada. Some of them will remain. Some of them, it will not completely extinguish. Some of them will remain pious. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. All miscreants will be killed, and out of them, there must be some pious. They'll remain. Allen Ginsberg, do you think of this in terms of a historical event that will occur in the lifetime of your disciples? Prabhupada, no. This will happen at least 400,000 of years after, at least. So by that time, Allen Ginsberg, they will go down, down, down. Oh, they will go down, down, down for 400,000 years? Prabhupada, yes. So at that time, my disciples will be with Krishna. Devotees. Haribol. Prabhupada. And those who will not follow them, they will see the fun, how they're being killed. Allen Ginsberg. 400,000 years. Will people still be chanting Hare Krishna in 400,000? Prabhupada, no. Hare Krishna will be finished within 10,000 years. There will be no more Hare Krishna. So what will be left? Prabhupada, nothing. Left will be, I'll kill you and eat you, and you shall kill me. You shall eat me. That will be left. After 10,000 years, yes. There will be no grain, no milk, no sugar, no fruit. So I have to eat you and you'll have to eat me. Full facility for meat eating. Full facility. Krishna is very kind. He'll give you facility. All right. Why cows and calves? You take your own son. Yes. Eat nicely. Just like serpents, snakes, they eat their own offspring, tigers. So this will happen. Allen Ginsberg. Kali eats her own. Prabhupada, yes. And there will be no brain to understand, no preacher, nothing else. Go to the dog, and then Krishna will come. All right, let me kill you so that you're saved. Allen, so you see it as actually a historical thing of 10,000 years for the chanting of the diminishing chanting of Prabhupada. Yes, these are, well then, do you think more people will chant Hare Krishna or fewer? Prabhupada, oh yes, more people. Now it will increase until up to 10,000 years, and then diminish. So what is the purpose of right now, a world increase? People will take advantage of this up to 10,000 years. Then they will, Allen Ginsberg. So this is like the last rope, the last gasp. Prabhupada, yes. So the sooner we take to shelter of Krishna consciousness is better. This was a conversation with Allen Ginsberg in Columbus, Ohio in 1969.
Thank you so much, Dayananda Prabhu. That was a beautiful recitation of this wonderful, wonderful lecture. Srila Prabhupada is having a room conversation with Allen Ginsberg. And we can see how Srila Prabhupada is clearly telling what is going to happen in the future and how things are going to deteriorate more and more and more and more. And that's why Srila Prabhupada said, become Krishna conscious, finish up your business in this lifetime, go back to Krishna, don't take birth again, because things, if we think this COVID crisis is a bad deal, oh my gosh, just see the description of what is going to happen as time passes. So we are already in a very difficult age and it is only going to get worse. So I'm going to again give you another screenshot of a very important verse that I want to share with you. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see. Srimad Bhagavatam. How do I get this out? How do I move this? I'm getting this. Okay, let's see. All right, this is the particular verse I want. And we are going to straight go into the translation because we have a lot to cover. And Prabhu, would you like to continue just reading the translation for us if you don't mind?
These barbarians, excuse me. These barbarians in the guise of kings will devour the citizenry, murdering innocent women, children, cows, and Brahmins, and coveting the wives and property of other men. They will be erratic in their moods and have little strength of character and be very short-lived. Indeed, not purified by any Vedic rituals and lacking in the practice of regular principles, they will be completely covered by the modes of passion and ignorance.
Purport, please. So these verses give a concise, accurate description of the fallen leaders of this age. And I'm going to follow this up with another very important purport. By the way, that verse was from the 12th canto, chapter 1, 39 and 40. And this one is from the 5th canto, chapter 2, verse 1, and you may read the rest of it, at your leisure, but I'm going to focus just on this last paragraph of the purport, which is so important for us to see that we have no hope in looking at the leaders of this age. So I'm going to read this out. Srimad Bhagavatam predicts that in Kali Yuga, the government will be entrusted with Dasyu Dharma, which means the occupational duty of rogues and thieves. Modern heads of state are rogues and thieves who plunder the citizens instead of giving them protection. Rogues and thieves plunder without regard for law. But in this age of Kali, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the lawmakers themselves plunder the citizens. The next prediction to be fulfilled, which is already coming to pass, is that because of the sinful activities of the citizens and the government, rain will become increasingly scarce. Gradually, there will be complete drought and no production of food grains. People will be reduced to eating flesh and seeds, and many good, spiritually inclined people will have to forsake I'm not able to get this because the screen is in the way. Will have to forsake their homes, I'm thinking, because they will be too harassed by drought, taxation, and famine. The Krishna consciousness movement is here to save the world from such devastation. It is the most scientific and authorized movement for the actual welfare of the whole of human society. So you can see how difficult this age is and how much we are going to be having plunderers and looters and thieves in the place of these so-called leaders, if you haven't already. I mean, we can see how the leaders of today have their eye on the stock market rather than what is for the welfare of the people. That's how the US did not close down its borders or did not have this lockdown, because they were dithering over what actions need to be taken. They were more worried about the economy. They were more worried about the money rolling in rather than the welfare of the people. So this is what we are going to see further and further down. It is going to be a very difficult age. And why is this happening? Because of Ugra Karma. We are living a lifestyle which is non-sustainable. It cannot go on like this. The pollution and the contamination of every single natural resource is unbelievable. I'm going to show you a little clip about, we are going to talk about why is it important for us to be Krishna conscious and help the world to be Krishna conscious. And I'm going to describe to you how these things affect us. It's not enough for us to say, oh, I'm going to do my little Krishna conscious at home, I'm going to do my deity worship, I'm going to chant my rounds, and I'm going to take care of my family, because that's not going to be enough. We're going to have to get out of our comfort zone and preach to people just to save ourselves and to save this world. So I'm going to read just a few short quotes from Srila Prabhupada. This is a lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's called 750103 SB Bombay Lectures. I don't know what that actually translates to, but I'm going to just go with that. In the Kali Yuga, there is no yagya. Therefore, there is anavrishti. Anavrishti. Kali Yuga people will forget performing yagya. They will be busy in ghora rupa activities, horrible and fearful activities, not yagya. Let me see. Are you all able to see that? Is screen share still going on?
Yes, everything's fine.
Very good. They will neglect yagya. Then how these bolts and nuts and rubber tires will help you? Therefore, there's scarcity of anna. That will increase more and more. It will so increase that now you're getting anna by paying high price. But time will come when even if you're prepared to pay price, there will be no more anna. That time is coming. Naturally, what people will eat? They will eat mamsa and roots and seeds. No milk, no sugar, no wheat. These things will be stopped. As we are becoming entangled in Ghora Rupa activities or Mudha activities, then the more we shall be entangled with sufferings of material existence. Again, ultimately, with advancement of Kali Yuga, you'll have no food. Food means there will be no food grains, there will be no milk, there will be no sugar, like that, no fruits. If you get fruits, there will be no pulp. It is simply seeds. These things are there. You get a mango, but a mango means simply the big seed, that's all. Srila Prabhupada in a room conversation reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 151, 16th and 12th canto, June 25th, 76, New Vrindavan. In the last stage of Kali Yuga, there will be no food grains, no milk, no fruits. So very horrible time. People will kill their own children and eat just like animals. So the last stage of Kali Yuga, it will be like that. Srila Prabhupada in a room conversation and an interview on July 3rd, 1972, New York. Then again, about the duration of life. The maximum duration of life in Kali Yuga is 100 years. But who is living 100 years? It is being reduced, and it will be so reduced that if a man would live 20 years, he is an old man. It will come to that stage. Now it is reducing from 100 years to 90 years to 80 years, 70, then 60, then 50. In this way, if a man lives from 20 to 30 years, he will be considered grand old man. These are the symptoms. So I just wanted to share all this important room conversation and quotes just to impress on all of us, including me. I'm preaching to myself here, the importance, the urgency of becoming Krishna conscious now. Why now? Because we have no time to lose. Death can come any moment, just like this. We have no inkling when death will come. So the urgency to become Krishna conscious is so that we do not have to come back to this material world, because just in case we are thinking, oh, it's okay, I'm a devotee, I'll get another human birth and I'll be able to come back, pick up where I left off. Guess what? Yes, you will come back. Yes, you will be a devotee, but the situation around you will be 100 times worse, because as Kali Yuga is advancing, the atmosphere is going to get vitiated, things are going to become more difficult, the world is on fire. We really have no time to lose, you know. The faster we get out, go back to Krishna, the better for us. And then take as many people as possible with you, as my Guru Maharaj says. So I want us to reflect on all the things that Srila Prabhupada is telling us. And he has told us repeatedly, finish up your business in this lifetime. Don't come back here again. And we can see now, we can see for ourselves what COVID is doing to us, what the leaders are doing to us, and what the general industrialists and the powers that be, what they're doing to us. So I hope everyone is getting the urgency of becoming Krishna conscious. How do we become Krishna conscious? Very simple. We rigidly follow the orders of Srila Prabhupada, chant 16 rounds every day without fail, follow the 4 regulative principles, do your deity worship, do a little reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, offer your food to Krishna, take that prasadam, do everything, your duties. You may be family person, you may be single, whatever your situation, you do all your activities is a desire to please Krishna. It is so simple, nothing complicated. And if we take this formula seriously and follow it, we will achieve success. It is guaranteed, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me, become my devotee, offer your obeisances to me, worship me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So Krishna is making this promise to us. So let us try to become Krishna conscious. Let us make our lives successful. Let us be very determined that no matter what, no matter how difficult, I will try my level best to be Krishna conscious. Rest is in Krishna's hands. We can only put in the effort, but effort plus mercy is equal to success. So when Krishna sees the devotee sincerely trying, he helps more and more and more. They say if you take one step towards Krishna, he takes many, many 100 steps. I've heard 1,000, I've heard million different, senior Guru Maharajas in our movement. They say it like that. So we just have to take little baby steps, and Krishna will help us so much. Now we are at 1:28 p.m. I want to show you one more clip, because this third part is why we should help the world become Krishna conscious. Let us look at what these Ugra Karma activities are doing to our planet. This is a little video clip from a documentary movie called Cowspiracy, about how the meat industry is destroying the planet. I'll just show you a short clip. Let me go back again to screen share, and I'll go to the video. Let's close this one. Okay, we are here, and I'm going to put on this.
We can't hear the sound. The sound is not coming through.
Oh. Okay. What should I do for that?
My experience is I don't think YouTube links work very well with Zoom like this. We'd have to get like a broadcasting kind of app. I mean, that's just my experience when trying to share YouTube links.
Okay. Okay, then what I will do is I will just go to this particular clip that I want to show about what it is doing to the atmosphere. And those are numbers that we can just read off the screen. So leading cause of death zones.
Did you try raising the volume on the YouTube though? On the YouTube itself? Yeah, it's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that.
Let me try one more time. Let's see what happens. Now?
No, you can't hear it so well.
Okay, at least you got the main clips, meaning what I wanted you to see about what this Ugra Karma kind of civilization is doing to the earth. It is destroying everything. 91% of the rainforest, the Amazon rainforests, are gone. Now, we learned in school, in geography and in science, that trees give out oxygen and they take in our carbon dioxide. The way we are destroying the trees, we won't have much oxygen left to breathe. The global warming is a fact. It is destroying the planet. There are a lot of horrible things happening simply because of this crazy, greedy, exploitative lifestyle. Dayanand Prabhu knows all too well, and he shared it with us through his website, Save Earth Now, about why this crazed greed for enjoyment on the material level has caused our planet to go into such a difficult time of everything getting destroyed, the air, the water, the land, the oceans, the rainforest, and everything is getting destroyed simply because of this unsustainable lifestyle that we are living. So to again reiterate the urgency of Krishna consciousness, we need to become Krishna conscious. We need to help others become Krishna conscious. Now you may say, I'm just a simple, humble devotee. I'm in my home. I go to work. I come back. I'm just doing my thing. That's fine. Apart from that, start thinking about how you can reach out to others. You may know very little, but that doesn't matter. Whatever little bit you know, you try and share that with other people. Srila Prabhupada, he was watching little Saraswati, Malati Mataji's daughter. She was only about 5 years old. And she was walking around, during the Sunday feast, talking to the guests and saying, do you know who Krishna is? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you should surrender unto him. And Srila Prabhupada was so pleased. He said, she is the perfect preacher. She is preaching what she knows. So we may not be some great Pandit or we may not be, done Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta. It may not be, something that I'm capable of. But whatever little bit we know, we must try to share that with others. Just as Lord Chaitanya said, when he went to South India, Lord toured large parts of South India, he stopped at the house of Kurma Brahmin. Kurma Brahmin and his family were so overjoyed to serve the Lord. For 4 days, the Lord stayed in their home and they attended to his every need, and they absolutely fell in love with Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was leaving, the Kurma Brahmin couldn't bear to leave him. He couldn't bear the separation, and he started following the Lord. The Lord said, what is this? Why are you following me? He says, I cannot bear the thought of leaving you. I cannot bear to be separated from you. And then Lord Chaitanya said, what about your family? He said, oh, they'll be all right. I just want to go with you. And then Lord Chaitanya said, no, don't be a crazy fellow. You go back to your family. You stay with your family. You simply practice Krishna consciousness. By my order, you become guru. You save the land. Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Whomever you meet, wherever you go, simply tell them about Krishna. In this way, you will always have my association. In fact, you will never lose my association. So this is the instruction Lord Chaitanya gave to Kurma Brahmin, and it holds true for all of us. So we may be very simple, humble devotees. Maybe I'm just a young mother taking care of small children, whatever it is I'm doing. I do it in a mood to serve my little children because they are representatives of Krishna. Krishna has sent these spirit souls to me to take care of them nicely. I may be just a simple housewife, homemaker, whether you're combing your child's hair or checking their homework or cooking some nice preparation for your family or just even cleaning your house. That's it. Whatever you do it with a desire to do it very nicely to please Krishna. You may cook, you may bake, you may pickle, you may do everything in your home, but let it be coming as a service to Krishna, doing it very sincerely to please Krishna, and that is pleasing to Krishna. So we must try to become Krishna conscious, and then we must try to spread Krishna consciousness, because this is the need of the hour. We really have to get out of our comfort zone and spread Krishna consciousness far and wide to save this planet, because the destruction is becoming too much. Mother Earth cannot bear so much destruction. And so Krishna is giving us actually an opportunity for all of us to jump onto the bandwagon of Lord Chaitanya's movement and encourage everybody. Chant Hare Krishna. He's made it so simple. Chant, dance, take prasadam, and then come back to me. So Lord Chaitanya gives a very easy formula, because people are not interested in this age of Kali. It's very difficult to practice anything elaborate or austere. Spiritual life is just very hard. So Lord Chaitanya knows this. And therefore, he has given a very simple formula. Just chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant and be happy and make others happy. So thank you very much for listening very patiently to my little presentation. I hope it has been interesting. I hope it has been informative, and I hope it has been something that you can take at least something out of that to enhance your own Krishna. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So let's open it up for discussion, for questions, for comments, for maybe realizations or corrections even. Is that okay, Bhagwan Prabhu?
Sure. I have something that I'd like to add, speaking about urgency, and it comes from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prajapati Daksha, he's a progenitor of this planet. He has 10,000 sons, and they're doing these austerities, and he wants them to carry on his lineage per se. And so they're doing these austerities in this holy river or whatnot. And then Narada Muni sees them and he says, well, they should be released if they've got this tendency to do austerities. Let's release them and let me convert them to be renunciants, so that way they can channel this properly. And so he converts these 10,000 sons of Prajapati Daksha to become like brahmacharis or sages or whatnot. So Prajapati Daksha has another 1,000. Narada Muni converts them as well. Prajapati Daksha becomes upset and he curses Narada Muni to not be able to sit in one place. So therefore, Narada Muni is always traveling around everywhere. He accepts this curse for the benefit of those he's trying to release from this, perpetuous cycle of birth and death and getting them. So that shows you too how you were saying, we may come back later as devotees, but it's tough. But I feel too at the same time, the real heart of a devotee is to accept that for the benefit of others, as we're doing now. We get kicked around just here in Bernice left and right, but we're still willing to take on these austerities and see what the bigger picture is. So there's a particular verse in the 6th canto, the 5th chapter that I brought up, and it's speaking about time here. And I thought it was really relevant with what you were saying. It's actually, speaking about urgency. So at this time, during this whole pastime, Narada Muni had spoken of a physical object made of sharp blades and thunderbolts. The Haryashvas, which were the sons of Prajapati, understood the allegory as follows: eternal time moves very sharply, as if made of razors. Sorry, I'm getting blocked here. As if made of razors and thunderbolts. Uninterrupted and fully independent, it drives the activities of the entire world. If one does not try to study the eternal element of time, what benefit can he derive from performing temporary material activities? So I'll just go down to this second part of the purport. Even a moment of one's lifetime could not be returned in exchange for millions of dollars. And you can see, I mean, you may have some people capitalizing off this whole thing, and some people suffering, and some people riding out the storm, I think. But still, none of us, regardless of what our material situation is, can stop this quarantine period per se. So it shows you how material nature cannot be halted. We can't buy back 1 second of time, regardless of how rich we are. The Prabhupada further elaborates, therefore one should consider how much loss one suffers if he wastes even a moment of his life for nothing. Living like an animal, not understanding the goal of life, one foolishly thinks that there is no eternity and that his lifespan of 50, 60, or that of most 100 years is everything. This is great foolishness. Time is eternal, and in this material world, one passes through different phases of his eternal life. Time is compared herein to a sharp razor. A razor is meant to shave the hair from one's face, but if not carefully handled, the razor will cause disaster. One is advised not to create a disaster by misusing his lifetime. One should be extremely careful to utilize the span of his life for spiritual realization or Krishna consciousness. These are powerful words. They're very strong. They're filled with conviction. And I think, too, we should be a little open and understanding. This is something I've been bringing up in the past conversations, that not everybody's going to dive in, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles. But even if they can start to utilize their time properly, even if it starts by just 5 minutes a day or 1 minute a day, it can eventually lead into something more sustainable and more practical and steady if we as community members are setting the example and showing them support and going through that same sort of austerity that Narada Muni went through by taking those curses, and by understanding that regardless, this is Krishna's arrangement as a pillar in the society, that we're going to face many obstacles and inconveniences in order to allow these people and allow these newcomers to take what's within their reach or facility, and thus will be given more facility as well. But it comes with a price regardless. When you're new, or if you're not new, or whatever it is, there's always an inconvenience at all times. So it's just some things I wanted to share. So Midas will take these inconveniences and stride with them in the right direction and utilizing our time wisely. So then we can get some benefit, and we'll actually get a deeper sense of realizing how temporary all of this is. So why connect with it on such a superficial level? So just some thought. I really appreciate your talk.
Very, very true what you have said, Bhagwan Prabhu. In fact, I think in yesterday's lecture, Guru Maharaj said, great souls willingly undergo great sufferings just to help humanity. So yes, coming back to this material world on Krishna's order is a different thing from coming back because you haven't completed your Krishna consciousness. The point I'm trying to make is, let us try to become as Krishna conscious as possible in this very lifetime. And then, according to Krishna's desire, if he desires, no, you go back and you preach, that's a different category of coming back, rather than being forced to come back because we have left things incomplete. So my hope is that all of us take the words of the spiritual master seriously and try to become Krishna conscious. And of course, yes, we are going to be tested. You're being tested so much as the leader of your yatra. Both of you and Naradi, have to really take on a lot of sacrifice, a lot of suffering, simply because you're trying to elevate the consciousness of others around you. But with that, you're getting a lot of empowerment also. So Krishna sees that. When he sees that, actually my Guru Maharaj also says this, when Krishna sees that someone is really trying sincerely to help others, he empowers them more and more and more. And Guru Maharaj also says that you make advancement in Krishna consciousness by how much responsibility you're willing to take up. So you both are showing that you really are taking a lot of responsibility to help others. So you will be empowered more and more and more. And of course, there will be tests. Of course, there will be challenges. You're facing them every day. Who am I to say that? I don't know so much about all these things because I was just, basically at home for many, many years. But yes, you're absolutely correct. Every moment has to be utilized for Krishna consciousness, because otherwise we're missing out on the chance to really get free of the entanglement of this material energy. And that's not what we want. We want to really become Krishna conscious. So very nice point you raised, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for sharing too. And I also wanted to say too, like as this situation with coronavirus, like as preachers or teachers or devotees, we have to learn how to adapt to these situations too, because I see things are changing. I think there's going to be more virtual gatherings rather than person-to-person gatherings. So as we speak about Kali Yuga, it's like Kali Yuga is always supposedly advancing as we're getting deeper into it, but it's always changing as well. I mean, that's the nature of things. So
Yes,
I like,
matters always. Yes, very
I don't know
true.
if you could elaborate a little bit on adaptability in Krishna consciousness as being part of the urge as well.
Oh, yes, we have to. We have to learn to very quickly understand the situation and then adapt our strategy accordingly. You're right on when we say we are going to be having more and more virtual meetings because it's going to be hard to meet in person. And people are adapting marvelously. Devotees are just doing so many innovative things to spread Krishna consciousness. In India, 1.2 million plates of prasadam are being distributed every day now after this COVID thing. Many people are changing their method of book distribution. They're calling up people, making contact by email, phone calls. They're doing contactless delivery. They're showing the books. They're saying, we're going to pack it up in these boxes and we're going to leave it on your doorstep. So the whole idea of how to spread Krishna consciousness, we have to adapt to the changing circumstances. We have to be innovative and we have to make it in such a way that it becomes easy and within reach. It doesn't seem something like a pie in the sky. Oh, I can never do that. Oh, I can never do this. No, we try to make it as simple, as accessible, as practical, and as relevant. If we try to help people understand that this COVID virus is come upon us because of meat eating, if we stop killing so many animals, we would not have to face this COVID again. But if we don't take that lesson, more sinister viruses than COVID are going to attack us because of the zoonotic infections. That means infections that are coming from infected animals to man, to infected meat. So adaptability, understanding the scene, and changing our strategy in order to preach Krishna consciousness in the best possible way in this particular scenario is actually called for. That they say adapt and survive. If you don't adapt, you just don't make it. So we don't want to be in that group of people that is rigidly holding on to some old practices of no, it should be this way, it should. There are no shoulds now in Krishna consciousness. We should be Krishna conscious. That's the only should. As Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, the only lack today is lack of Krishna consciousness. There's no other lack. All this talk of, earth cannot sustain so many humans. There is some talk of how humans are now too many on the planet and things like that. Srila Prabhupada said earth is capable of sustaining 10 times more this population. But she's withholding because of the sinful activities of the people. When the leaders are religious and they are strictly following principles, the earth gives so much bounty. When Yudhishthira Maharaj and pious rulers like Parikshit Maharaj, the earth was yielding valuable gems. When the rain falls from the sky, in the rule of pious rulers, Srila Prabhupada says this, the rain falls on the head of the snake, the jeweled head of the snake, and it yields gems, and when it falls in the ocean, it yields pearls. So gems, minerals, bounty of crops, nice green grass, fresh air, all these things are nature's gifts, and they will come as more and more people become pious and take to Krishna consciousness. This Krishna conscious movement is going to increase. It's going to increase all the way, and then there'll be a downslide. That means the first 5,000 years, it's going to be on the upswing. The next 5,000 years, it's slowly going to taper off and come down. We are right now on the upswing. So this movement is going to increase more and more. But at the same time, the demoniac forces are also going to increase more and more. So we are going to have, a war between the asuras and suras. Anyone else would like to contribute something? Please feel free to jump in. Haritha.
Thank you.
Haribol? Bhagwan Prabhu, you want to say something more?
No, I just said thank you for sharing your points.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me on. We would like to hear from the other people on this Zoom call. Would Hitesh Prabhu like to say something?
No, thank you. This is really good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being on the call. Lee Prabhu? Haritha? I don't know who is Harshila Mataji, but if Harshila would like to say something, and then we will hand it over to Dayanand Prabhu to wrap up everything nicely for us.
I'm Hitesh's niece. Thank you for having me, but I don't have anything to say. Thank you for this, though.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on, Harshila.
Thank you.
And I see Lee and I see Deborah. Would you like to say something and contribute to today's discussion? You're on mute, Lee Prabhu. We cannot hear you.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
There you
I'm
go, you're-
trying to get it unmuted.
No, you're unmuted now. You can
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Yes, I've really enjoyed today's discussion. I find fascinating the discussion that of Allen Ginsberg with Prabhupada. That's one of my Allen Ginsberg. When I was in high school, was one of my like heroes. I wrote him a bunch of letters, and he actually wrote me back.
Wow.
Yeah, he edited my poetry for me. I when I opened the document or the screen up today and I saw that, it made me I was very excited about the topic. And I've heard that discussion a lot before, and I've heard that the discussion about that conversation a lot, where he was talking about the degradation as Kali Yuga sort of continues to worsen over time. And I think a lot of what we see in the world today, with all of the greed and all of the sort of psychological issues that people have, one of the things I've been thinking about a lot in my work every day is the influences of, the three modes of material nature, and how those modes interact with sort of just the age itself to create a lot of the issues that people have. It's an age of quarrel, where people feel threatened even in situations that are not necessarily threatening.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and for putting this on. I really enjoy very much the Skype format. I've been running around. That's why I had the camera off earlier, and I finally got to,
That's okay.
sit
That's
down.
okay.
And
Srila
spend some
Prabhupada
time
said
with
hearing
you
is
guys. It was
important.
really good to see you.
Haribol. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that little personal
Deborah?
story with Allen Ginsberg. That was very sweet. Harita, would you like to say something?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna to Sri Devi Mataji and Anand Prabhu. The thing is, like, I literally, I like the speech that you have given, Mataji, and the information that you have given about the Kali Yuga. I keep on reading this in Bhagavatam, and even in Krishna book. I'm reading Krishna book. So in few contexts, like, there will be a discussion on the Kali Yuga also. So when I read this, I feel really bad, like how situations are going to be more deteriorating, and how people are going to be more wicked and cruel. So how to overcome um, from all this? How what would be the future of our children? What would be the future of our future generation? These things, sometimes create a lot of agitation in my mind. So I think this Krishna conscious will be the only thing which will keep us going on. So I
Yes.
feel good listening to this, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, yes. But don't worry, Krishna protects his devotees. He loves his devotees. Devotees have nothing to worry. My Guru Maharaj, every morning, he does a morning class for us. And in that, he's repeatedly told us that's how we are all stayed so cool during this COVID crisis. Repeatedly, he has said, devotees have nothing to worry. Krishna protects his devotees. Krishna loves his devotees. Krishna gives all protection. He has said that repeatedly. So I want you to know that Krishna protects you. Krishna cares about you, and Krishna will always be there for you. So you don't have to worry.
The thing is that we should always be maintaining that consciousness, Mataji. Sometimes we might get deviated. That is one of the concern for me. It's like we need to be in that consciousness. We need to be in that consciousness. That is what is important.
That
So,
is true. That is true. Yeah. Very, very good point. We always must try to remain in Krishna consciousness, always conscious of Krishna. And that happens when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant, 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 chant. And don't say can. This is the key actually. Srila Prabhupada actually wants us to chant 24/7. He says without stopping. Why only 15, 16 rounds? Why not 25? Why not 32? Why not, and once for Ekadashi, he said, why just 25 rounds? Why not 25,000 rounds? But, we don't have so much taste. But that's the thing. As we keep chanting, we will get more and more taste. We will get more and more taste. So keep going. Don't give up.
yeah, sure, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Naridi, would you like to say something?
It might be hard for her to unmute her phone. She's in the other kitchen cooking.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's all right. So then we will now humbly request Dayanand Prabhu, because Dayanand Prabhu has been really into so many things about saving earth. And I think it would be nice to hear from Dayanand Prabhu about how we can make a difference now during this tough time. Dayanand Prabhu, would you please share with us some gems of wisdom?
All right. Well, during these tough times, well, first of all, let me say that that there's something I'm very excited about. Perhaps many of the devotees here know about this, but I just found a house near the university, about 3 miles from the university, and so I'm purchasing that house. The objective is to use it for training new devotees, especially young men and single men and women, and we're already Nardi and Bhagawan Narda have started this business called Gopal's Bakery, which is a prasadam business. It's called a home cottage food business. So they've been doing that for some time. And my hope is that we're able to recruit some devotees who will live at that house and learn about Krishna consciousness and have a morning program and chant and that kind of thing. But then during the day, their engagement will be to work in this prasadam business or prasadam distribution business.
Wonderful.
So this is our plan. Then, just by accident, a few days ago, about a week ago, I asked the realtor that I wanted to go and see the house again because I wanted to look at the kitchen. I wanted to see how we can arrange the kitchen for this prasadam business. So as I drove by, I noticed that 3 doors down, 3 houses away, there was a house for rent. So I told Bhagawan Narada Prabhu, oh, look, maybe that would be a nice place to relocate and at least have a temporary temple there. So day before yesterday, we rented that place. So now we have 2 houses that are nearly adjacent, one for the temple and one for this training institute, little fledgling training institute. So for me, it's very exciting. And I have a lot of high hopes for this endeavor and for San Antonio. And I feel that Bhagawan Narada and I are working more closely together than ever. And we have our sort of vision for the future development of ISKCON San Antonio is very much in line with each other. And neither one of us is forcing our ideas on the other. We seem to be very much in tune. So it's very exciting to me. And I think that we're well positioned, the old guy and the young guy, we're well positioned to recruit young people, perhaps even more than big temples that I've seen. New York and of course Los Angeles does a fair idea recruiting, but other big temples like Silicon Valley in San Francisco, I think that we have tremendous potential here for
Absolutely. Right.
doing this work. And going forward, I think we hope that everyone will step up and do more service. I like this word committed. We had a call with Guru Prasad Swami, and I said, I really like the word committed devotee. And I think that Sri Devi was talking about that in her lecture today, that we're here in the throes of Kali Yuga. We have to understand that there's an urgency for Krishna consciousness. So I like the word committed, that we're committed to advancing in our service. And Krishna consciousness is not just about chanting. I told Prabhupada, I wrote Prabhupada once, very early when I was a young devotee. I said, Prabhupada, I'm really getting into the chanting. And Prabhupada wrote me back and he said, well, that's good. He says, but Arjuna was fighting on the battlefield. He wasn't just chanting. So he said, sometimes devotees under the guise of chanting become lazy. So he says, which is unwanted. I'm just sort of paraphrasing here, but the idea is that chanting should take about 2 hours a day, but that means we have a remaining 22 hours a day. One time in the temple, Prabhupada called for questions, and the devotee raised his hand in Los Angeles. I remember it very clearly. He said, Prabhupada, I'm having trouble finishing my rounds. And Prabhupada said, oh, why is that? He says, well, they're engaging me in too much service. I don't have time to chant. And Prabhupada said, so you were eating and sleeping? He wouldn't accept that. That was an excuse. So we have to do even more than the chanting, because service, engaging in service is extremely important. There's a lot of talk about knowledge. Devotees like to talk about, we're distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, or this is a process whereby we get knowledge. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idumuttamam. So there's an emphasis on knowledge, but what devotees forget is that there's three aspects to knowledge. Theoretical and practiced is the second phase of knowledge. So practiced. So just to learn that some shloka or that Bhima was the brother of Arjuna, what's the point of learning that Bhima is the brother of Arjuna, or Draupadi had 5 husbands? Or those things are extremely important. Those are the bases of Krishna consciousness, but without practice, it doesn't go further. It doesn't go to the third stage, which is basically connecting with Krishna relationship. So yeah, going forward now, we're making these extra endeavors. Bhagavan Narada Prabhu and Naradi Mataji, yesterday, they worked hard all day moving everything to a storage room, because we didn't know that we were going to get this place. So now they have to move it from storage to the house. But so they really worked hard. They were completely exhausted. I spoke to Bhagavan Narada this morning. He was just wiped out. So this is the kind of dedication we need. I can remember also as a young man being totally wiped out after doing service, and all of us were working so hard to found this movement. So this is the kind of thing we need, commitment.
Oh, yes. And I'm really grateful to Bhagwan Narada. I was just telling him, my gosh, it's so magnanimous of you to put on this at 1 o'clock and be committed to having the class. I would be like, oh, I'm too tired to do this. For this Sunday, we are canceling it or something like that, take the easy way out because my body is not going to be up for it or something. But he's just powering through that fatigue and that, exhaustion and the tiredness. And I'm sure in the move, he's pulled a muscle here or knocked and got a bruise there or something, because in a move you're always hitting something or getting hit by something. It's never bruise free. So I'm sure he has some aches and pains also over there. So hats off to him and Naradi for just powering through all that and carrying on with the Sunday program. Yeah, that's commitment, and commitment is a very essential thing. Without commitment,
Such commitment. I just remember one brief story that this devotee, I was just talking on Facebook with this devotee, old devotee, we're the same age. We were, he was on the East Coast, I was West Coast. We never really served together, but I had to do some service in Delhi, and I needed to collect about 4 or 5 men to help. We had to move something. So I was going around. When I get in charge like that, I get very, become like the official, okay, I need people, let's do this. Okay, go here, do this. So like a sergeant or something. So so I told him, we needed help. We need help. And then he said, no, he and his other friend devotee said, no, we can't do it. We have to go somewhere. So then he wrote me. We were just sort of talking back and forth about something just a couple of weeks ago. He said, Dayananda, he said, I always felt guilty that I refused service 50 years ago.
oh, how sweet. So many years ago, and he still is.
I said, I remember that having to do that move, but I certainly didn't remember that you refused. I said, believe me, we did the service just fine without you, and that's no problem.
Right. That's a
But this
devotee's
is the
heart.
kind of commitment we felt. We all felt that. And this devotee, for 50 years, he's feeling guilty because he goofed off for 1 hour or something.
Oh, wow. I mean, just see what a commitment that is, and what a heart he has that he still remembers, and he wanted to apologize for something that you didn't even remember or just didn't think it was so important. Yes, without commitment, we cannot make progress. We have to be committed to our vows. We have to be committed to the instructions of the spiritual master. We have to be committed to the process of Krishna consciousness, because without commitment, there will not be that enthusiasm to power through when the going gets tough. There's that
Yes, and
tough thing.
Prabhupada wanted us to be committed to ISKCON. It's something a little bit extra. And sometimes the other Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they criticize that. They say, why should you be so committed to an organization like that? And it's not necessarily traditional within Hinduism or Vaishnavism or Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And I even have a couple of God brothers who have left ISKCON, and they criticize that because they know that they're not really big organizations in Gaudiya line. But Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada started this, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave the seed. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada especially started this, and Prabhupada manifested it with his disciples, ISKCON. So I have many many God brothers who are very devoted to ISKCON. So sometimes they're not serving so much, but they understand so clearly. I find that the majority of Prabhupada's disciples understand clearly that Prabhupada's love for this ISKCON society. So this is another kind of commitment that we who follow Prabhupada, it's really important for us to be committed to that society and now we are all old. All of us Prabhupada disciples are old. The young people, all you young people like you, Sri Devi and others.
That's a joke, right?
And you have to take over.
Bhagwan
it has
and
to be done.
the other people you have to ask that, Prabhu. I'm an old hag now.
I know the old people, they sometimes don't like to let go. That's typical. It's very typical. They think, oh, we've made all the mistakes. Now we know how to do things properly. So they're very reluctant to let the young people make mistakes or do whatever they do. But I'm firmly convinced that we have to ensure that young people know how to continue everything. Prabhupada was very attached to seeing this ISKCON. Sometimes he would say, devotees would say something to him. I can't remember a specific instance, but he would say, I'm a member of ISKCON. Meaning just like everyone else, I'm a member of ISKCON. In other words, yes, he was emphatic that he should be named as the founder Acharya, but then on the other hand, he saw himself just as a humble member of ISKCON.
Yes.
So
I just love the way you spoke about leadership, Prabhu. A true leader empowers, encourages, enthuses others. So you are exemplifying what Srila Prabhupada gave by his own example of empowering, enthusing, enlivening, and guiding his young disciples. He never saw them as less. He always saw them as actually representatives of his Guru Maharaj come to spread this movement. What a lofty vision. Srila Prabhupada is looking at all these hippies and he's saying, you are representatives of my Guru Maharaj. Just see the humility, just see the greatness of Prabhupada. And you're just exemplifying that by saying, about Bhagavad Narada and, empowering him, encouraging him, being there for him. These are the kind of people we need today in ISKCON. People who are wise, who are experienced, and who know how to guide without, being like suffocating the next generation. I just wish there were more people like you in ISKCON to really understand Prabhupada's mood and
no, I don't
example.
like that. But I was just speaking with another devotee, Navina Nirada. He's used to be in charge of book distribution for the world for a while in the 90s. Wonderful devotee, Swiss devotee. Anyway, I was saying to him, I thought that one of the characteristics of a good leader or even a great leader is that leader can himself make other leaders. I've known many wonderful devotees who were expert as leaders of 5, 10, 12 men, even 20 men, but great leaders like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and many of the present gurus who themselves have disciples who have become sannyasis and presidents and things like that. So if a leader can himself make more leaders, this is what Prabhupada wanted. He said that I want all of you to become gurus and make disciples. So, or become leaders to make other leaders. I mean, that's something I'm saying that.
Right. I completely agree with you because otherwise we have a very top heavy organization right now, all the sannyasis and the this and the that, and then all of us, floundering away, we need a middle level. We need people to guide us, to help us, to enthuse us, to encourage us, and to empower us to carry on with whatever little service we are doing, to be there for us in so many ways. This is really the great need of the hour. And
well, I agree with you in a sense that it's top heavy, but in another sense, I think that it's important for all the devotees to become more committed, to take on the responsibility. I see that so many of my godbrothers are working like anything, Like Guru Prasad Swami is working hard. He's a sannyasi, and he's got all these temples in South America and Mexico and places like that. And the devotees are always having problems. They have to rely on him to solve the problems. So why should that happen? We brought Prabhupada problems in the early days. And then finally he said, you stop bringing problems to me, bring them to the GBC and the GBC will solve the problems. So the Guru's not for solving problems. Not marital problems, not temple problems, no kind of problems like that. Guru should never be approached for sannyasis shouldn't be solving, issues, marital issues. They're sannyasis. That's for others. And we shouldn't be burdening the leaders. That's not the way Prabhupada managed. As things went on, in the beginning, for the first couple of years, Prabhupada was counseling us in many ways and guiding us. But we used to buy whole temples without Prabhupada's in Potomac, Maryland. There's a wonderful temple there. And that temple, they got that temple without, saying, oh, Prabhupada, can we buy this temple? It's going to be this much money and all this, Devotees just bought the temple, or they got lease purchase. But anyway, this is the way with the movement, not to put a burden on the top, but to become committed on the bottom. And yes, to become independent. That devotees have to become independent. And Prabhupada indicated the Dami Buddhi Yogam Tang. That Krishna will give individual devotees inspiration how to serve Krishna. So I would like to think that when Arjuna and the others were in the battle at Kurukshetra, they're fighting in the Mahabharata battle, those 18-day battle, that the generals and the leaders, they would decide on different phalanxes and how to do the tactics, how to attack.
Yes.
Every soldier, every chariot driver, every elephant would be responsible to play an individual role. It's not like the elephant driver has to constantly ask the general, oh, should I go here? Should I go there? Should I fight with this one? Oh, this one's shooting arrows at me. What shall I do now? We have to,
Right.
we have to take inspiration. Yeah, we have to know which direction ISKCON is going. We have to open our eyes to see which direction the gurus and the GBCs and all these people want us to go, but we have to use our heads. We're not dependent on these people for how to brush our teeth or do whatever service we do, as long as it's according to which direction, the general direction of the march, like the army, which direction the commanders are indicating.
Right. I agree. Srila Prabhupada said we want thoughtful and independent people in our movement. That means we have to start using our brains and think of how best to serve and then go ahead and do it. And, you said about practical, not just chanting. Of course, chanting is the foundation, but after that, do something practical.
Absolutely, yes.
When you do something practical, then that theoretical knowledge becomes realized knowledge. It becomes Vigyan, not just Gyan, Vigyan. And then with Vigyan, you are convinced yourself, and then you can speak with conviction and convince others, because otherwise, your words are just theoretical and they may not have so much impact. But when you speak from a position of realization, of personal experience, and of commitment and conviction, then you're able to convey that to others also. So yes, we have to be very practical. This movement is a very practical movement, and applying it in our daily lives and then helping others, that is really the key to taking our movement forward. So Thank you for sharing in depth about two important things I got from what you spoke, that commitment and then growing up, taking charge, being responsible, stepping up and doing something. That is really, thank
You
you.
got more than you expected from me, right?
Oh, I love it. More is better, Prabhu. I can sit here and listen to more, more, more. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, Bhagwan Narada Prabhu, Deborah, would you like to say something to wrap things up for us? You said nothing. Everybody else said something.
Sure.
Okay, well, in my defense, I was driving a lot of the time while this was going on. And then I got here and I haven't really been able to pay attention because of different things going on at my house. So I don't really have anything to add.
Well, we are just happy you're here. You know,
And
Sheila.
I'm really happy to see you. You're one of my favorite teachers.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. I cannot imagine why, but thank you. You know,
I'm sorry. I also wanted to say my mother is also here. She has been listening to the call, but she just walked out of the room.
oh, my humble obeisances to your mother. That is so beautiful that your mother is here. You know, Prabhupada told Brahmananda Prabhu, go pay obeisances to your mother. And you know that story, right? About Brahmananda Prabhu, this huge, tall guy, you know, paying obeisances to his mother. Like she was so surprised because mother is the first guru. So please our obeisances to your mom and tell her we all thank her for raising you.
Thank you.
And to Deborah, I just want to say, you know, Srila Prabhupada said, even if you just attend the class, even if you don't understand one word, because it's in another language, because some devotee was saying, I don't understand the language, I don't understand the mantras, I don't understand the verses. He said, even if you don't understand the language, you simply attend and you hear, it will purify your soul. So thank you very much just for being with us.
Yes, I know that any effort made towards Krishna is valued.
Yes.
Even though I wasn't able to pay much attention, I was listening on my way to Lee's house. So I know that he values even the slightest,
Yes.
you know.
That is true. That is true.
Hi, Dayananda, I miss you. My other favorite person.
Yes, mine too. I'm unabashedly a fan of Dayananda Prabhu.
If he had t-shirts,
to
I would
say.
wear one.
Huh?
If he had t-shirts made, I would wear one.
Haribol, thank you.
I have one.
Yes.
I have
go
one.
ahead.
I was wondering if you would like to elaborate, since it goes back to kind of your title. Can you talk a little bit about how lucky we are, basically? Very, very lucky, because Lord Chaitanya has appeared in this Kali Yuga, and he doesn't normally appear in Kali Yuga. He appears once in the day of Brahma. So how fortunate we are to kind of have this golden period. You kind of alluded to it, that we're, you know, Krishna consciousness is on the way up, but specifically because of this, Lord Chaitanya coming.
I don't know more about it. So if you would like to go ahead and elaborate and educate us, that would be great, because I know very little about this part. I mean, just what little I spoke, or maybe Dayananda Prabhu can tell us, but I really wouldn't be able to contribute anymore.
I know a little bit, but I prefer to hear right now because I'm feeling kind of lazy and I want to relax.
Okay, maybe Dayananda Prabhu, can you please explain about the yugas and, you know, how Lord Chaitanya, it's very rare he comes.
Meaning that Mahaprabhu is a Yuga avatar. He comes with the purpose of Sankirtan Yajna.
How rare is his appearance? That's what I think Bhagwan Prabhu, Narada Prabhu wanted us to elaborate on, that it is so rare for Lord Chaitanya to come, and he has come in this particular Kali Yuga. Is that right?
Yes, of course it's rare. He's the Mahabharanyaya. He's the great merciful incarnation of Krishna. For me, this verse from Bhagavatam, unfortunately, I can't remember it by heart, but it says he comes with his associates to do Sankirtan Yajna. It says in that verse, Sankirtan Yajna.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been studying the Gita carefully for for a long time, but especially this concept of yajna. We don't really appreciate it. We understand the word yoga much more. It's much more popular concept, yoga and karma, but the concept of yajna has been there since the Vedic times, and it's well understood. Some concept of yajna is well understood in Indian society and among sadhus and priests and Brahmins have really understood the concept of yajna for thousands of years, and it's the yajna is an extremely important part of not just Vaishnavism but all throughout the Hindu religion. And yajna, I would say, yajna is a core element that distinguishes Hinduism from Jainism, from Buddhism, and I would say also from modern day veganism. So yajna is an extremely important concept to understand. If we think that veganism is somehow close to Vaishnavism because they're vegetarians, they don't want to kill animals, it's very much imperfect because of the lack of the concept of yajna. So
Sacrifice.
what is yajna to a devotee? There are many, as I said, many understandings, interpretations of what yajna is from Vedas. In the Vedas, really a key component. They weren't talking about yoga in the Vedas. They were talking about yajna. And in the Upanishads, throughout the Gita, Krishna talks about yajna. So what is our yajna? It's Sankirtan yajna. And fundamentally, Sankirtan yajna means the celebration of Krishna's leelas and names. We celebrate leelas like Rath Yatra is a leela. In the temple, we celebrate Janmashtami and all of the leelas. Some temples, they celebrate Braha, who's the boar incarnation, all different leelas. So this Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu came to give us the Sankirtan Yajna, which is, Prabhupada says, Sankirtan Yajna and Krishna consciousness, or you can say Bhakti Yoga, go hand in hand. They fit together. So it's a very interesting concept if you study it a bit. This is why I hope that devotees who emphasize chanting and meditation and yoga, bhakti yoga, they don't forget to include Sankirtan Yajna, which is the celebration of the names of Krishna. It's the celebration of the leelas of Krishna and Vishnu. So this is a unique aspect of Mahaprabhu. He emphasized that. Throughout the Vaishnava culture, there's celebration of leelas and holy names everywhere. You see that in Vaishnava culture, but specifically Mahaprabhu was extremely skilled and he exemplified so much this. Yes, on the high level, Radha Krishna love. He was the combination of Radha and Krishna. Nahi anya. He's the two together. But for us in general, it's this Sankirtan Yajna, this practice of celebration. And it's such a wonderful thing. And this is the way we get our enjoyment. It's the key. If we can learn to actually enjoy the leelas and the names, that's our that's the way we can build a culture. We can build our own individual lives, can become satisfied individually. But if we can somehow establish the enjoyment of Krishna Lila, Vishnu Lila, and Krishna Nama, we'll be successful in establishing this culture. I have no doubt. Because everyone else is enjoying iPhones and whatever they get on Amazon, and they're enjoying watching TV and movies and all these things. The only way we can combat that and the destruction of the planet because of greed, because of excessive killing and exploiting. The only way we can combat that is enjoyment of the Leelas. And this is Chaitanya's message. This is the essence of Chaitanya. We see that he fell down in ecstasy when he heard different Leelas of Krishna. And we have his 8 verses on the Sankirtan, mainly focused on chanting of the holy name. So Mahaprabhu exemplifies this Sankirtan Yajna, which I would take further as enjoyment. I mean, I'm not inventing that. Prabhupada says, I'll just mention one thing also. Prabhupada said he was speaking with Bhakti Charu Maharaj when Bhakti Charu was a very beginning devotee. Bhakti Charu Maharaj was saying, they were talking about sannyasi because Bhakti Charu was taking sannyas. So sannyas means celibate. He has to avoid women. So Bhakti Charu said to Prabhupada, well, in some sampradayas, some groups, they completely isolate the sannyasis from women altogether. It's very much protected. So Prabhupada said, no. He said, Vishwamitra was a great sage. You can read the story of Vishwamitra, but so I'm just going to summarize. But he was a great sage in ancient times. He meditated for thousands of years, and then he was distracted by Menuka, by an attractive woman. They had a child. Who was that? Anyway, Shakuntala, is it? I've forgotten. So Prabhupada said that no, even the great sages can succumb. He said it can't be done by force. And then he said, Rasavarjang Rasotyasya, meaning that you have to get the higher taste, meaning it's only through enjoyment that we can replace these lower desires. The lower self can only be conquered by the higher self through enjoyment. And what do we have? Sankirtan Yajna. What is that? Enjoyment of Leela and Nama. And as much as possible in public.
Yes, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for reminding us.
I found a nice verse. So CC Adi Leela is the advent of Lord Chaitanya. You can read in nice detail about how he comes with his associates. They're all glorified. I like to speak the Bengali just because it's so sweet. I'm not expert, but I'll try. Jai Shri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Sabara Prema Yotsnaya Ugwala Tribhuvana. So I'll just read the translation in the second part of the purport. It can kind of sum things up too. All glories to the moons who are devotees of the principal moon, Lord Chaitanya Chandra. Their bright moonshine illuminates the entire universe. So this is what we're striving for. In the second part of that purport, Krishna is bright like the sun. As soon as the sun appears, there's no question of darkness or nescience. Similarly, the present verse also describes that by illumination of all the moons, brightened by the reflection of Krishna, of the Krishna sun, or by the grace of all devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire world will be illuminated despite the darkness of Kali Yuga. Only the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can dissipate the darkness of Kali Yuga, the ignorance of the population of this age. No one else can do so. We therefore wish that all the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement may reflect the Supreme Sun and thus dissipate the darkness of the entire world. And that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 2231. So he's tying that in with this verse as well. Just thought I'd share.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was beautiful. Very nice. This is churning the nectar. This is so enjoyable. This is enjoyment. In this nectar, we can just go on and on and on like this. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, I really gained an appreciation for sharing and realizing that, yes, there's hearing, chanting, but this sharing is where it really kicks in. This is when the wheels start turning and we can start planning and organizing and then just reflecting with one another. It's a really important aspect of our movement. And if we're so bombarded by these huge facilities and all these what ifs, then we lose that essence of sharing. We lose that essence of just reflecting and sharing our realizations and our weaknesses and our strengths with one another. I think this is the proper association, is because you get everything together when you're with devotees discussing. So that's been one of my biggest kind of just things that I've been meditating on the past couple of weeks, especially, is just the sharing aspect.
Oh, definitely. This is the main thing, because just today my Guru Maharaj was mentioning how relationships are the key for advancing in Krishna consciousness, because in the powerful association of devotees that we can really grow. And relationships are under great siege in Kali Yuga. Guru Maharaj was explaining that now he travels the world and he says, previously it wasn't like this, but now wherever I go, airports, bus stations, railway stations, everybody, they're sitting next to each other, but they're all looking at their cell phone. Nobody's talking, nobody's conversing, nobody's even looking at another person. And relationships are just going down, 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 because we are not connecting. But here in our Krishna conscious movement, we are doing the opposite. And this is so needed. This is how we strengthen ourselves. This is how we encourage each other. And this is where we get our strength, association. And Srila Prabhupada also said this. 3 things are very important in Krishna consciousness in this order: association, association, association. So this is truly wonderful for me. Thank you so much for arranging this program and then really sharing in depth about so many aspects of Krishna consciousness. I'm so happy and so excited about this move that I feel Krishna is personally arranging for you all. And I just wish I could be part of the action and do something. If there's something I can do, just let me know. I'll be happy to do it. I really look forward. I hope I'll be able to come for Rath Yatra. That's something I'm looking forward to, keeping my fingers crossed. But I'm really excited for this new phase in your spiritual life.
We're going to postpone this year's Rath Yatra due to this whole COVID thing, but some good news is I've just got some big wooden wheels ordered for the chariot. So it'll be postponed probably till once everything's really cleared out.
Right.
But we won't be having it in July, obviously, with the move and everything else. But
okay,
we'll
maybe November or December.
Yeah, something. Hopefully, we'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this wonderful nectarian time. I'm really thankful to you, Prabhu, for engaging me and allowing me to make a little presentation. But, I got so much more out of it than I put into it. Thank you so much.
All right. I guess we can conclude here. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll keep in touch. And then we have Tuesday with Narottam Prabhu at 6:30. I encourage everybody to kind of tune in if possible. He's giving us his time and energy, and he loves to be personal. And then on Wednesday will be Jivananda Prabhu as well. I just sent a message to Donna Kelly Mataji to see if she'd like to give next Sunday's class. I'll wait to hear back from her. But thank y'all so much, and everything will be recorded on YouTube. I've already posted it in the group.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare
Right.